Welcome back to Big Days Range Days. I'm Jeremy West with Wild West Guns here in Las Vegas, of course. As always, with me out here is my favorite shooting buddy. This is my son, Jeriden West. Jeriden, say hi to everybody.
Hi.
Jeriden's a big talker, as you can see. So we've been out here a few times, been working on some basics and trying to get back into the groove as we're getting ready to jump into our fall season for competitive shooting. So we've been hitting the gym, we've been eating right, we've been doing all the things we need to do to make ourselves better physically. We've been dry firing, doing the things that we do to work on the basics. And so today, our dry fire practice this morning, we had 2 paper targets, and then we put up 2 little pieces of steel. Obviously, they were paper too because we're dry firing. But then we brought it out here today we worked on it this morning for a half an hour in our in the shooting room, or whatever we want to call that. What do we want to call that?
Home gym.
The home gym, yeah, because it does double as a gym, so that makes sense. So anyway, so the thing was to draw and fire an alpha, 2 alphas on a piece of paper just off the draw. That's all we did. We drew it, we fired 2, guaranteed 2 alphas into the target. So Jeriden will do that 3 or 4 times. Your gun's loaded and ready to go,
yeah.
Right? Okay, so
yeah.
Are you ready? Stand by. That's not going to fall. I pinned it up.
Oh.
So we don't have to keep going down there.
Oh.
So he shot the piece of steel. There's a piece of steel down there. Paper, pieces, a mini popper, and another paper. And even though the drill was, he got distracted by his dot not working, the drill was just draw and fire 2 shots into the paper target, going for 2 alphas, right? But he sees targets, so he shoots targets because, if you're a hammer, everything's a nail, right?
Yeah.
Jeriden's a hammer, so everything's a nail. If it's a target, shoot it, right? So we're just drawing. We're putting 2 in each piece of paper. By the way, the popper, the reason he was wondering what was happening with it, is I pinned the popper up, so it just rocks back a little bit and comes back forward. That way we don't have to go down there and stand it up after every time it gets shot. So anyway, back to it. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you ready? Stand by. Good. 191 with a 158 split. Are you having trouble finding the dot?
Yeah.
You keep walking around like you're losing the dot.
I know. It's coming up from the bottom. There we go.
So you work on finding the dot at home in dry fire. That's what dry fire is. Dry fire should be slow. Dry fire should be meticulous. Dry fire should be building muscle memory, building your setup, building your ability to find the dot, building your ability to pull the trigger without disrupting the sight picture. You can practice speed if that's what you want to do. If your goal is to speedily transition between targets, that's fine. But that stuff usually done on the range, in my opinion. The home stuff is just constantly reinforcing your brain to see what it needs to see. Reinforcing your brain to see dot on alphas, front sight on alphas, pulling the trigger without disrupting the sight picture, moving from one target to the next without over traveling it or bringing it back too quick, allowing your eyeballs to move in front of the gun and letting the gun catch up to your eyeballs. That's the kind of stuff you do in dry fire. Out here on the range, we're working on accuracy, we're working on trigger pull, we're working on recoil control, we're working on all that stuff aside from all that. But because it is practice, it is a good chance to slow down and make sure and guarantee there's nobody competing here. It's just the 2 of us. So this is where we put in the reps of making sure that every shot's an alpha. Because really, when it boils down to it, what did we say this morning? The person that wins the match is the guy that got the most alphas the fastest.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right? So that's how we do it. We work on getting alphas. We work on building accuracy. And then once you have accuracy, speed will naturally follow. Most people are out there trying to build speed, and that's a feasible way. It works that way. But the more accurate you are, the faster you'll go. The more confidence you have, the faster you'll go. And then it just keeps building on itself. So if you're constantly working on accuracy, speed will come naturally. So let's work on getting it on there, getting your 2 shots into the target, and going from there.
Yeah.
Are you ready? Stand by. Nice.
Bit of trigger freeze there.
Yep. 137, so his standard draw was a .50 on a wide open target. He knows he can go faster. That's why he said, I got a bit of a trigger freeze, right? We haven't shot any guns in a couple of weeks. We were at his older brother's wedding last weekend and a couple of other things before that.
And the weekend before that, we were busy.
Yeah, we really haven't done a lot of shooting. So this is 4th of July weekend. It's a good chance to get out and celebrate a little bit of America by blowing a couple of holes in it and going from there. So, all right, let's go down it again. Are you ready? Stand by. Nice. There we go. See, it only took him a dozen rounds to get into it. 119 draw and a .21 split, both alphas. Should have done that every time. Hey, all right. Are you ready? Stand by.
And there's the trigger freeze again.
So what's causing the trigger freeze?
I feel like I'm pulling the trigger, but it's not going off. I think I'm not.
Are you resetting it?
I'm not resetting it.
Not
fully.
resetting it? Okay. Focus on. So all the guns I build, I try to put in what's called a tactile. It's not tactical. It's a tactile reset. Tactile means perception of feel. You can tactilely feel it, right? So you can feel on the triggers that I build, the backside's not mushy. So there's a click when you pull it and a click when you release it. And if you ride it like a metronome, click, 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 right? Bang, 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 right? And it helps you to feel the shot. So ride it like a metronome. Click, 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 right? Are you ready? Stand by. Yeah. 152. That was a 134 draw. 18 split. 18 split. Getting close to them jailhouses, baby. Anything under 18 will put you in jail. How we doing? Got enough?
Yeah. Okay. Got enough for 2 more? 3 more?
All right. Are you ready? Stand by. Nice. 156. It's a 136 draw, which is where he's usually draws usually at as a 125 to 135 ish, right? And
did feel like that was a little dancey,
split.
though.
So far, all alphas. What's that?
I felt like it was a little dancey though, like getting to the edges.
Getting a little
the
dancey.
dot was dancing in there.
Yeah, you got a little close. You're getting a couple of them out there. You're picking up a few. So see how your shot pattern is down low in this area?
Yeah.
That's why we aim for the top of that A zone, right? So as you're waiting to draw, stare down the top of that A zone.
Yeah.
Right? And let the gun come to your sight. Don't push your eyeballs to the gun. Right? Your eyeballs are on the thing, and as the gun comes up, your gun comes right to your eyeballs. Right? Okay, so this time 2 on paper, 1 on steel. Are you ready? Stand by. Oh yeah.
Love the old makeups.
The old makeups. So USPSA with a makeup on a piece of steel, you dropped 5 points, right? Because you had to put another round on target. So even though you made that back up by not taking that just a split second longer and getting that hit on that piece of steel, that 1-for-1 piece of steel, you gave up that 5 points that you now have to go back and collect, right? So every bullet you fired should score you points, right? Every bullet you send down range should score you points. So if you miss a piece of steel, it's just like missing a target completely, right? So you lost that 5 points. So you have to come back to it. So it pays to take that. In your brain, it's going to feel like a minute and a half. But in real competitive shooting world, it's a couple tenths of a second. And guarantee a good sight picture and guarantee a good trigger prep press. Did you reload?
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Paper, then still. Now I want you to do the same paper. Pop, pop, ping. Right? Are you ready? Stand by. Yep. Nice. 211. So your 152 draw, 18 split, a .41 transition to the target, right? Which is perfect. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Are you ready? Stand by. Nice. 196.
That
right?
was a little on the edge.
It rocked it over, so it would have fell, right? But the fact that you can tell it's on the edge means you're calling your shots. Super impressive, right? The fact that you can tell it was on the edge means you're calling your shots, right? Your alphas, you're going alpha Charlie, you're starting to collect a couple of more Charlies, but your shots are picking up higher. There's no deltas on there yet, so a couple of Charlies are getting a little wingy, right? But that's okay. So make sure you see that second sight dot, right? We're talking about that 1 or 2 tenths of a second required to see that sight dot. The person that collects the most alphas in the least amount of time wins. Right? Are you ready? Stand by.
Dang it.
Oh, yeah. So let's look at the math on that. It was a 1-4 draw, a 0.2 split, a 0.38 transition, and a 0.4 to make it back up.
Yeah.
Right? So
yeah, I jerked it
the
down,
reason I say
find the recoil.
0.4 is so you take, so it's a 3/8, which we'll round down to 4. We'll round up to 4. It's a 0.45, so or 4.6. Easy math, we'll say 4.5, right? So you just went, initially, you fired 2 shots at it. That if I would have said, okay, stand there for 0.85 of a second, 85th of a second, which is almost a full second's time, you could have hit it and still been in the same position you are now.
Yeah.
Right? So even if you waited 1/2 of a second longer, you still did it in half the amount of times it takes you to make a makeup shot. Right?
Yeah.
Bang, bang, bang. And you're still faster. Right?
Yeah.
You still got a better score. And you only fired 3 shots. Are you ready? Stand by. Nice. 0.186. That was a 1-2-8 draw, a 0.23 split, and a 0.38 to the steal.
Mo better.
Okay. Just do that every time.
Want to start working on the other target, going from the steel to the
So now you can go paper, steel, paper, right? You got enough.
Yeah, I got enough.
So there's 2 paper targets down there and a steel mini popper. So he's going to go paper, 1 on steel, and up to the other paper. So it's going to go bang, bang, ping, bang, bang. Right?
Yeah.
Are you ready? Stand by. Yeah, had to come back for it, right? Guarantee your sight picture on that target, on that steel before you pull trigger. That's the whole reason we're here today.
I'm not sure why I missed, though.
Yeah.
Could have swore the dot was on it.
Well, it could have been until you pulled the trigger and disrupted the sight picture.
Yeah.
So what does that tell you?
You're
jerking when you pull the trigger?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm shooting low left. I don't know what's wrong. Must be the gun.
I got 2.
2?
Yeah.
Go, just 2 on paper.
Okay.
Are you ready? Stand by. Nice. 154. A 136 draw and a 18 split. 18 splits are getting pretty hosey.
Yeah.
Okay, starting to get. You got 1 Mako Delta over there, getting a little drifty. Get it back in line. All right, mostly alphas, a couple Charlies, 1 on the. It's still a Charlie, but it's on getting close to the line. Are you ready? Stand by. Nice.
Oh, that felt good.
0.269. So let's look at it. A 143 draw, a 21 split, a 3-9 to get to the paper, or excuse me, to the steel, a 4-9 to get back to the paper, and a 17 split, your fastest split so far. Right? Okay, do it again. Let's see, you got 1 Charlie on that target over there. So 2 Alpha Steel, Alpha Charlie on that one. Are you ready? Stand by. Nice. 0.283. Right? A 153 draw, a 22 split, a 4-0 transition to the steel, a 5-1 transition to paper, and a 17 split.
So far on the second target, no Charlies.
Second Charlie, yep. Second, those are 2 shots on that one are alphas. So there you go. 283. Right?
Yeah.
Right? Alphas, steel, alphas. Right? In 283. Are you ready? Stand by. Did that feel a lot slower?
Yeah.
You know how much slower it was?
1/10
of a second slower. You were 283 on that last one. You were 292. 1/10 of a second slower was all.
I tried making it a little slower. There's a little gap.
Still 2 alphas. Still 2 alphas.
Gap in the hole. I was trying to aim for that.
But it felt so much slower, right? It even felt slower for me. I was like, oh, he's way slowed down. And I looked at the time and I went, huh, that was 1/10 of a second slower than the last one you just did. Huh?
Not even half a second.
Not even 1/10 of a second. It's 1/10. 1/10 slower than the last one you just did. Right?
For some reason, that fell a whole second slower.
Absolutely, right? So that's that perception thing, right? When you're in the groove and you're doing it right, time stops. It's like the Matrix, right? Right? Okay. All right. How you doing? You got ammo? You ready?
Yeah, I got enough for one more.
Okay. All right. Are you ready? Stand by.
Oh,
Nice.
that felt good.
Did that feel slower?
No.
Did that feel faster?
Yeah.
You were
Well,
247 on that one, right? So you were half a second faster than the last one. A half a second faster.
Did feel like I had a better grip on that too. More
Alpha,
left
steel. Might have got a Charlie on that one. See that one Charlie on the side?
I think that was there before.
Oh, okay, sure. Right, but still, that's okay. You picked up a half a second.
Yeah.
Right? Because you got into the matrix, right? You got into the mode. And then all of a sudden, now time slowed down, right? Let's see if I can practice what I preach. Still the same target array, still the same setup. Again, we were practicing this morning, and so just starting off a little bit slower, just getting that draw, hitting the target, and coming back to just making sure I got 2 shots on that draw right off the bat.
Are you ready? Stand by. .18 split.
So a 139 draw and .19 split, 2 alphas. Target's getting a little hard to tell, but
yeah. So. We got extras in the truck.
No, I didn't bring any targets. That's why we're using these targets. Are leftovers here that have been sitting out here on this stage now for about a month and a half.
They were here last time we were here.
So they're getting a little shot up. So anyway, it's getting a little hard to tell. We started off; they were all pasted, all taped up when we started, so we could tell where Jeriden sets were. But Jeriden shot a bunch of them in there, and as we started kind of speeding up, started getting a couple of Charlies out there, so it's hard to tell which one's which. But that's all right.
Are you ready? Stand by. That felt pretty alpha-y.
191.
Ooh, 13.
Yeah, it was 13 split, right?
Super
one. Nice. So it was a 134 draw, a 13 split, a 4-4 transition to steel, and a total time of 191. So 2 shots in that and a piece of steel hit in less than 2 seconds.
Okay. Are you ready? Stand by.
.187, even
slower
faster.
On that one.
Well, I was slower on so it was a 134 draw. It was a 17 split. I slowed down to make sure I got 2 alphas, but I sped up to get to the next target. So I lost a 1/10 of a second on the split, but I gained a 1/10 of a second on the transition, right? Yeah. In the shooting world, we refer to that as not shooting faster, but shooting sooner, right? Getting to where I need to get faster than what I need to do, right?
Yeah.
You can only shoot so fast and be accurate, but accuracy is not affected by how fast you move between targets, right?
Yeah.
Accuracy is affected by seeing sights and pulling the trigger and handling the recoil, right? So if you can do the things other than shooting faster, you'll be better. So in the words of Ron Avery, shoot sooner, not faster, right? Get there sooner, be there quicker. I was about to say faster. Be there quicker, be there sooner to pull the trigger, right? And that's how you make up time. So let's see how we're doing. Oh, yeah.
I got another mag load for you.
Oh, thank you. All right, now we're going to go paper, steel, paper.
All right. Are you ready? Stand by. That looked good.
246. That was as fast as you did it the last time.
Yeah.
So 137 draw, 16 split, a 4-5 transition, a 4th to the steel, 4-3 transition to the paper, and a 16 split. Nice, huh?
Nice.
All right. We like it. That dry fire's paying off, baby. What do you know?
Huh. Are you ready? Stand by. I think you got Charlie on that second one.
What do you mean? Probably did. 131 draw, an 18 split, a 4-5 transition to steel, a 3-5 transition to paper, and a 17 split. 246, right?
Yeah, that Charlie's just on the barely on the outside though.
Charlie on the outside. Ready?
Okay. Are you ready? Stand by. Going for smooth?
Purposely slowed down to guarantee alphas, and it was a 245. So I purposely slowed myself down, and that only took me 1/10 of a second longer.
Yeah.
Right? Because it was a 245 on the one I went fast on. I purposely slowed down and guaranteed alphas, and it was a 254.
Mm-hmm.
So it only cost me 1/10 of a second for all alphas.
Yeah, completely smooth. You had like in a 6 range in all the splits.
So the draw was a 130 even, a 2-8 split. So I slowed the split down to guarantee I got an extra hit, right?
Yeah.
So I slowed the split down by 1/10 of a second. I sped up the transition because my transition before to steel, remember, were 0.45. Now the transition to steel is 0.35. I gained that 1/10 back that I waited there. I got there sooner, not faster.
Yeah.
Right? So I got to the shot sooner, not faster. Then I did the exact same thing. I got to the paper target sooner, not faster, because it was a 4.5 to the other one before, right? And I did it in 0.34. So I got there another 10th sooner. I'm already 1/10 of a second faster than I was last time, and I guaranteed my hits because I moved faster between shots, right? I transitioned to targets faster between shots. I did everything sooner than shooting, right?
Yeah.
And then I finished that last one with a 2.7 split, which is exactly another 10th of a second slower. So I added a 10th of a second on my splits to guarantee 2 alphas. I deducted a 10th of a second getting to the steel, right? I made that 10th back up by getting there sooner, right? I hit the steel. I made up another 10th of a second, so now I'm a 10th of a second ahead by getting out of the steel and onto the paper, and I slowed down that second shot by 1/10 of a second, and I'm exactly the same place I was, but I guaranteed alphas on everything, right?
Yeah.
And all it cost me was 1/10 of a second, right?
Okay. Yeah. Are you ready? Stand by.
Now I really slowed down. But did I? I slowed down
You
4/10 of a second.
You slowed down on the splits on the paper, even with the transition. So you got there sooner, guaranteed more.
Here's the one of the things. This is the one thing I've always tried to pride myself on. Look at the times. So it was a 1-4-3 draw, right?
Yeah.
3-6 split, 3-8 transition, 3-7 transition, 3-4 split.
So they're all in the 7 range.
Like
same tempo,
right? Metronome. There's a training procedure called metronome training. You can download a metronome app on your phone, and you can dry fire with a metronome, and it teaches you that.
Really?
Right?
Okay. Are you ready? Stand by. So you sped it up a little bit.
So 1-3-2, I sped my draw up faster. So 1-3-2, a 0.34 split, a 0.39 transition, a 0.37 transition from steel to paper, and a 0.30 split. Right? If you're going to speed up that last transition or that last split on an open target. So now we're going to go the other way. Paper, steel, paper. Right?
Okay. Are you ready? Stand by. Sped up coming out.
Did I?
I can hear it.
Well, it's so.
Oh, actually, no, it's the same.
So it's a 1-3-3 draw, a 0.34 split on the first paper, a 0.39 transition to the steel, a 0.39 transition from the steel back to the paper, and a 0.31 on the paper. Right? That's a variance. So that's a variance of 3.9 to 3.1 hundredths of a second. So that's a 8/100ths of a second variance is all. 8/100ths of a second.
Why did it seem like you sped up coming out of it, though?
Probably just what it felt like to your ear. You know, again, remember when you talk, we're shooting, and it's that matrix thing, right? It's you'll hear people say this, and I don't really like this phrase. Is people say, smooth is fast, and fast is smooth, or whatever the phrase is. I don't like it so much I don't even think about it, because that's ridiculous. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. No, it's not. Slow is smooth. Smooth is slow, right? Rhythm is fast, right? I can go slow through there, but really what I'm looking for is a rhythm. I'm not looking for slow. I'm not looking for smooth. I'm looking for rhythm, right? Because my brain can keep time. That's why you like music so much. We've talked about this in the past. But if you can keep that rhythm going where you're just right and you're keeping that time running, if you push the time on that,
you could have told me that you were doing that.
I didn't know until I started doing it, or I would have.
Okay.
We're just going off the cuff, boy.
Okay. Are you ready? Stand by. Oh, yeah.
So, total variance, 3-1 split, 3-6 split, 3-2 split, 3-5 split, right?
Yeah.
So, that's a variance of 0.05 of a second. I was off by 0.05 of a second time.
Yeah.
Right?
Try that on the steel.
What's that?
Try it on the steel.
Okay.
Okay. Are you ready? Stand by. I saw the one bullet pancake off of it.
3-1, 3-7, 3-1, 3-5.
Yeah.
On a mini popper at what's that? 15 yards?
I'll say so.
Yeah. Mini popper at 15 yards. Right? Not showing off. It's just when you're being consistent, when you're being in tempo, when you're being in time, you are fast. Because what happens is if it takes you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I didn't speed up my shooting, and in fact I slowed it down. I slowed down my splits and guaranteed alphas benefit, right? I sped up and got there sooner to take the next shot on the piece of steel, right? Thanks, Ron Avery. And then I got out of that piece of steel and I showed up on that piece of paper sooner to take 2 alpha shots. I made this time up in the travel between shots. Right? I didn't make the time up in the shooting faster. Because generally what happens when you shoot faster, you start doing what's called a double tap, right? When you start double tapping, double taps are alpha, delta, mic.
Yeah.
Alpha, mic.
Low left,
yeah.
low left.
It usually looks like this, bang, bang,
Yeah.
or bang, bang, right? So it's alpha, mic. Alpha Charlie if you're lucky, alpha delta usually, alpha mic normally, right? Now, there's going to be a bunch of YouTube people like, oh, that's not how it works. No, it is, right? I promise you. If you took the time and your goal was to actually actively hit the A zone every single time, and you just go, you draw and go, bang! I guarantee you, at distance, unless you're like 3 yards away, which is usually how that's scored. If you're at a target where we're talking 15 yards, a fast second shot is not an accurate shot. Right? So a fast second shot usually means a Charlie Delta, more than likely a mic. Are you going to risk that for 0.2 of a second faster?
Yeah.
It's not worth it, right?
It's not worth the points.
Yeah, not worth it. So
Especially
anyway,
if you're going that fast.
Yeah.
You probably want all the points.
That math don't math.
Yeah.
Right? That math's not mathing. Okay, paper, steel, paper. Now that I'm done with my rant.
Are you ready? Stand by. Slow it down. You ran out bullets.
Yeah, that was my head. That was all I had. So 1-3-1 draw. I slowed down. 0.41 split. 0.44 transition. 0.44 transition. 0.39 split. Right.
Yeah.
I'm all right there within 0.4 to 39, 0.05 of a second difference. Right in a transition across everything. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. It's your turn. Time for tempo time.
Yeah. Well,
get that tempo again.
Yeah.
Are you ready? Stand by.
Oh, that felt good.
Heck yeah, it did. 1-4-9 draw. 4-3, 4-5, 4-6, 4-3.
Perfect.
Dude, that's a variance of 0.03 of a second. 0.03 of a second.
Okay.
That's pretty smooth.
Speed it up a little bit.
Are you ready? All right. Stand by. Nice. 3-6, 4-2, 4-3, 4-2.
Nice.
Splits, right? Splits, transition, splits, transition. Are you ready? Same thing. Stand by. Good enough. Right?
Yeah.
That it? You done?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, guys. So we start getting to a point when you're working and you've been out here. It's hot. We've been out here for an hour today, probably even longer than that, because we test fired a bunch of guns earlier. Jeriden got to shoot the 416
Elephant Slayer.
Elephant Slayer. Not that we're shooting elephants, but you could. Anyway, so starting to get hot, starting to get tired, starting to get thirsty. When that stuff starts creeping in, it's time to call it a day, right? There's no sense in practicing through hardship, practicing through stress. You're tired. It's not worth. Finish your days on the range in a good positive thing, right? So before we get frustrated, before we get tired, we're going to go ahead and call this a day. Looking at that target, there's a very large group right in the center on both of them, right? A few Charlies, one or two Deltas got away from us every now and again, right? But for the most part, they were all Alphas. The steel has got a nice, good impact zone right in the scoring ring. There's nothing really high, nothing really low. So that's what we want to see at the end of the day. That's how you grade yourself on how well you did, right? So it's a good practice day. We had a good time. It's time to get back to the gun shop and wrap things up so we can get done. Go out on the go out, enjoy the 4th of July weekend, and get out. Did a good job, son.
Yeah.
Got anything for everybody? What piece of advice would you give them that you learned today?
When you get SPAC, time to pack it up.
When you what?
SPAC, sweaty back.
When you get sweaty back, SPAC, it's time to pack it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. So, what about tempo? What'd you learn about tempo today?
Definitely slow down a bit, or
Yeah.
you'll miss the still.
Yeah. So put things in tempo, and you'll be a lot more accurate.
Don't do the swing.
Yeah. Don't rebound it.
Yeah.
Right. Stop at it. Right. Stop. Right.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. I think that was my problem.
Probably.
I would go past it. I went back and
over-traveled it on the way back
and shot it.
Yeah.
Went to the next one. So.
Yeah. Well, at least you can recognize what you've done, and that's a good part. So, well, guys, we appreciate you being out here. We're out here at Pro Gun Vegas. It's our favorite range, and we do enjoy them letting us out here to practice and do the things we need to do. We look forward to seeing you on the range. We'll be in St. George most of the next couple matches. If you guys get a chance, you come down, you want to go do some shooting, always give us a chance. Look us up, give us a call, come check out Wild West Guns. We usually have plenty of guns and ammo for everybody. Come along and enjoy some time with us. With my best shooting partner here, Jeriden, and again, I'm Jeremy. Thanks for joining us on Big J's Range Days. I might have to change the channel to Big and Little J's Range Days, right? So, but anyway, thanks for joining us here on Big J's Range Days. We're glad you came along. Please subscribe and share and let everybody else know the chaos and goofiness that goes on here. As you can see, we don't take a lot of it too serious. This is a hobby. Nobody's getting paid a lot of money to do this. So enjoy it as a hobby, but learn to do better and enjoy yourselves. And I appreciate you coming out and spending the day with me, young man.
Yeah.
Right on. Okay, guys, thanks for joining us.